Hey everybody. Today we are talking about the 5-second speed test, and I want to kind of explain what that is and why it's important. So, statistically, I'm going to say at this point, probably 50% of website traffic will exit a website if that website takes more than 5 seconds to both load and explain exactly what it is that the company does. So when I look at a website, when I load a website, and I'll show you guys in a few minutes here, but when I load something up, within that first 5 seconds, we not only need the whole thing to load so we can see it and interact with it, but we also need for it to explain what the business does and also an action of some point or an action of some kind. So it's not really helpful if the website loads super fast, but doesn't explain what the purpose of the website is or what action you're supposed to take, right? If you just have this wall of text, it can load really quickly, but be pretty much useless. So the first major reason why you want to care about this is because people will just exit your website. If it's slow, they're going to just leave. So there's an expectation of speed. The second part is conversions. Like most likely your conversions are going to significantly go down if your website is slow. So of that 50% of people that stick around until this thing is all loaded up, of that 50%, your conversion rate, say it's typically 3%. If your website's slow, you might get 1 or 1.5%. And it makes a big, big difference if you're in a business where people need to make immediate movement. And I pulled a local plumber because it ranked really well and it was one of the first ones that came up in search. And I'll show you guys in a second how that speed test and everything worked out. But just a wall of text isn't helpful. It's gotta be able to convert as well. And so if you're slow, your conversion rate's going to significantly drop. And the third thing is for SEO purposes, it's unknown, although Google has made allusions to it. It's kind of unknown how important speed is to your SEO ranking. Like, because we do see websites that don't get very good speed tests rank really high. So it's not the factor in your ranking, but it is a factor. And so if businesses are all in all equal, domain authorities, the same, keywords are very similar, content's very similar, as it goes down that kind of cascade, eventually speed is going to enter in there. Like, how fast is this website? And typically they're looking at mobile. So just thinking through, one, users expect it. Two, you convert much better if your website's fast. And number three, your SEO is going to just kind of by proxy be better if your website is quick. So let me show you guys kind of how we check this. So um, this is like I said, it's a random company local to us in Columbia, Tennessee. It loads very, very quickly. And what you can see in here is, does it pass the 5-second test? Well, if I start the counter and it's like 1, 2, here's my website, I know that they're a plumbing service. I know what they do and I know how to get a hold of them. So I can call them almost instantly from this front screen. So there's perceived speed, and this website has very good perceived speed. So if I get rid of any sort of caching that they're operating, at least on the front end, you can see the website's still very quick. It's very, very quick to load and everything's interactive. When there are lots of tools that you can use to check this. Google Page Speed Insights is one of the most used tools for this. It is Google standard. It uses a system called Lighthouse and some other stuff to kind of come up with these numbers. But there's some things that we're looking for inside of this 5-second test. The first thing is the first contentful paint. So what that means, what this is looking for when you punch this in, is it's deciding how long does it take for the first major elements that are above the fold. So like in this first screen that without scrolling that I can see, it wants to know how fast that loads. And it's saying on average, it's about 2.9 seconds. That's pretty good. Like anything south of 3 seconds there is pretty good. The largest contentful paint is for everything to load, all the big stuff, everything to come in is 12 seconds. But you can quickly see that you can see all the things that you need to see on that website instantly. And if I look at desktop, you'll see that we're under a second here and we're under 3 seconds here. And so, at least on desktop, this one is very strong and it's fairly strong on mobile. So, you can get a good idea on Google page speed. You can also look at a tool called gtmetrics.com. And this is another one, and it will show kind of here we are. So, 420 milliseconds till we start to load. And then at less than a second on this, we're getting to, like, just kind of like we saw on Google, we're getting to that first paint. Largest on desktop to 1.5. Time to totally interactive is 2.3 seconds. So very strong. This website would be great. Like, overall, it looks pretty good. You can check out all kinds of things. Like, if you're really interested in what's loading when, you could dig into their waterfall. And this is available for any website. You can punch any website into these things and it'll show. So you can kind of see, like, there's some blocking time caused by the server, but otherwise this thing does pretty darn good. There's another tool called Pingdom, and it's at tools.pingdom.com. And you can see it rates this website. It says it's about 500, like about a half a second to load. It performance grade is at a 93 on here, which is really strong, and it can show you the different content types and all this stuff. For our purposes today, we're really just looking at, does the website within 5 seconds load and tell me what I need to know? And in this case, it absolutely does. There are other, like, you can look at our website and it's the same thing. So that website starts to load up. It's about 2.5 seconds there. And right here, it's like, we're talking about website design. We're talking about digital marketing services. Here's our button. So that works. My wife's business is Innisfree Farm. It's the same thing here. You loads very, very rapidly. And it's like, okay, a hunt for adventure. What is that? And then if you read here, it explains all the things that you need to know about what we do there and gives you an opportunity to go see all the different things that you can do at the farm. These are just kind of some examples. So it is definitely a user expectation that things need to be quick. It is definitely improves conversion if it's loads fast. And the other big thing is just like making sure that we're set up appropriately for SEO. So it is this speed test. I always tell people, don't go stripping your website out just to make it faster, right? Don't remove content. Don't just start tearing things out so that you can get 100% in here, because you don't want a black and white website with no pictures and no media and no interactivity and all that. So you have to find a balance. So this one does a really good job of striking up that balance of finding the first contentful paint, and then, having low blocking time and low shift and all that stuff. This is a good example of a site that would absolutely pass that. I did not pull websites that probably would not pass it, but there are lots of them out there. And even big companies have websites that don't pass the speed test. The thing is, when you're a little bit of a smaller business and every visitor counts, every visitor is important to you, because maybe you only get 300 visitors a month on your website, this becomes really, really important there. And then on the other end of the scale, if you're a really, really, really big company that's conversion driven, it becomes a really big deal. If you're Nike and someone's going to buy your shoes anyway, you maybe don't care about this, right? But it is a numbers game. And even a company at that size, the decrease in speed is going to increase their money. So it is very important for businesses really of any size to pay attention to this, but it can have a really big impact on a small business, particularly to go from a bad load time to a good one can massively improve, the amount of contacts that you get off your website. If you're like us and you're service driven and you're looking for that phone call or that booking or that email, the more effective and efficient your website is, the better off you're going to be. So check your website in this speed test, check it and see if it's passing, if it's failing. Just getting this right now, tomorrow your website's going to change. 6 months, it's going to change. The speeds will go up, they'll go down based on what you put on the site, your server, what you've uploaded, what you've changed. What Google's measuring, it's always in flux. So this is not something you do one time, set it, and it's fixed forever. This is an ongoing thing that you have to pay attention to. if you want your website to continue to be useful and helpful to your business. So hope this helps. Check out your website in the tester. Ask questions if you have them. And yeah, definitely something to pay attention to. Y'all take care and let us know if you need anything.